Welcome to Fuller Expectations, the podcast where we dive into topics like aging with confidence, navigating identity shifts, building new healthy habits, rediscovering purpose, health and wellness routines in midlife, and yes, maybe even money, retirement, relationships, and letting go of things that no longer serve you. I'm your host, Carrie Fuller, and I am so excited that you're here with me today. My hope is that our episodes feel like a blend of personal growth, real conversation, and gentle encouragement. We'll keep things honest, thoughtful, and practical. If you have not already, please hit follow so that our podcast can appear in your podcast library. We drop episodes every week, and we don't want you to miss it. And if you thought of somebody who might benefit by what you've heard today, please share this episode with them. And now let's get into today's episode. Hello, Fuller Expectations podcast family. I am so glad that you're here with me today. We are going to talk about something that is probably more in the forefront of everybody's mind as we just came off of a new year a couple of months ago. And so I wonder, have you ever thought about what would happen if you actually stopped drinking for a while, for longer? We're talking a little longer than 30 days, like or a dry January or sober October. I feel like a lot of people are exploring this a little more. And I wanted to touch on this because I did some research recently into the changes that you see happen when your body goes through this alcohol-free reset, like week by week. So we're going to talk about what those week by week resets do and what you notice each week after you stop consuming alcohol for a period of time. So we're not talking about quitting forever, although some people choose to do that. So not necessarily quitting forever, but because you just want to live a healthier life or feel better, for a period of time. So things like having more energy, sleeping better, maybe having less inflammation in your body, and just having a clearer mind. So today we're going to walk through some of the really powerful information about what happens week by week when you take a break from alcohol. Because the fact is, in the second half of life, wellness isn't about extremes. It's about exploring different ways that we can modify our lives just to live the healthiest version of ourselves. So this is going to be something around what we talk about on Fuller Expectations. It's about small choices that compound to help us live a better quality of life. A few months ago, we did an episode with a guest, Melissa West, and she is a mom in her late 30s who quit drinking for exactly the reasons I just talked about. And one of the things that she said on our podcast episode that really caught my attention was she said that so many people comment on how they'll quit drinking for a month or so and don't notice a difference, so they get started again. And she said for her, it was after she was alcohol-free for 90 days that she really noticed a difference. And she shared that she encourages people to stop for 90 days before they decide to drink again because so many of the benefits that she felt came at that point, that 90-day point. So we're going to talk about those things today. So this, again, it's a timely episode. A lot of people just came off of a dry January. And honestly, it's a really relatable topic, especially in the second half of life when so many of us are paying attention to how we feel on a day-to-day basis. So it's not always about just how we look. It's about sleep quality. It's about how we think. It's about how we move through our lives. And so let's talk about this. And we're going to go week by week through this process. Maybe you're somebody who thinks about feeling better. Maybe you want more energy. Maybe you've thought about sleep not being what it used to be. And perhaps you're a little more anxious than you used to be. And maybe just wanting to try to be healthier and wondering what changes would look like if you took a break from alcohol. So as we walk week by week through what your body notices when you stop drinking alcohol, what's amazing is this. Your body begins healing almost immediately. And in the second half of life, these small choices compound over time. It's like interest in a bank account, right? Or a finance account. It's the same thing as, on the health journey. If you started working out recently, it's small deposits into your wellness bank. We've talked about this before, what that does for you. So let's talk about why it matters. Alcohol is one of the most normalized things in our culture. It's how we celebrate. It's how we unwind. It's how we socialize. And for many of us, it became a part of adulthood without even much thought to it. So, just to be clear, this episode is not about shaming people. It's not about trying to change your mind about drinking or not drinking. I mean, I drink alcohol, so it's not that I'm trying to do anything here to shame people. But it's just about giving information about what slowing down or giving it up for a period of time will do for your body. It's basically about awareness around that. Because alcohol affects far more than what people realize, especially as we age. In midlife, our bodies process alcohol differently than we did in our 20s and 30s. You may have noticed that. I noticed that. And for women, our hormones have shifted, our sleep has changed, our metabolism has changed, stress tolerances have changed, and what used to feel like a good glass of wine can quietly become disrupted sleep, inflammation, increased anxiety, weight gain, brain fog, lower energy. So at that point, the question becomes, what happens when we give our bodies a break? So let's get started. We're going to walk through it and this week by week timeline. So in week 1, this is when the reset begins. If you've gone 1 week without alcohol, first of all, that's huge, and your body is already doing something incredible in this week. It's recalibrating. Within just a few days, your hydration improves, your inflammation begins decreasing, your liver actually starts to repair itself, your nervous system begins to settle down, and one of the first changes most people notice is with their sleep. Alcohol can make you feel sleepy, but it disrupts sleep. We're talking the restorative sleep that really matters in midlife and beyond. So in week 1, many people begin to experience fewer wake-ups at night, more restful mornings, clearer thinking during the day. You may also notice less bloating in your body. Alcohol is an inflammatory and it affects digestion. So week 1 can bring reduced puffiness, improved gut comfort, fewer cravings of sugar or salty snacks, and emotionally, many people feel a subtle shift. They feel more clear, they feel more steady. Week 1 is basically when your body is saying, thank you, I've got this. And let's get into week 2. Week 2 is around lighter energy and better mood. So by week 2, things get exciting. This is when people often say, wait, I actually feel better, because your blood sugar begins stabilizing. Alcohol impacts glucose regulation, and when you remove it, your energy becomes more even. You may notice fewer afternoon crashes, improved focus, better motivation. Your skin starts looking brighter. Your hydration improves. Inflammation decreases. And here's a big one. Anxiety often decreases. A lot of people have anxiety and they don't really equate it to alcohol. But actually, when you stop drinking for a couple weeks and anxiety decreases, that's when you're like, didn't realize that was related, but it actually could be. Alcohol also affects neurotransmitters, and while it can feel relaxing in the moment, it does increase anxiety afterwards. So in week 2, it brings a calmer baseline to your life. This is when you start realizing the benefits aren't just physical, they're emotional. As we get into week 3, there's visible changes and hormone support. Week 3 is where things often become noticeable outwardly. So your body is continuing to repair and regulate. Your blood pressure can improve. Digestion continues improving. Your sleep deepens even more. And for women in midlife, especially, alcohol has a major impact on hormones. It can worsen hot flashes and mood swings and disrupt your sleep. It can store weight around your midsection. So by week 3, many women report fewer hormonal fluctuations, better mood stability, more control over those food cravings. You may feel lighter, not just physically, but mentally. And that's powerful. As we just talked about, worsening hot flashes and sleep disruption. A lot of women in midlife who sleep crappy and have hot flashes at night attribute that to midlife hormonal shifts, but alcohol plays a role in that. And so if you stop drinking for a few weeks, you're going to notice that might change for you. Week 4 is where we hit the 1-month milestone. A month of alcohol-free is a major turning point. At this stage, the research shows that liver fat decreases, insulin sensitivity improves, and inflammation markers drop, and sleep becomes more significantly restorative. This is the sleep that matters in our midlife and beyond. Many people also notice changes in their body composition at this point. Not necessarily dramatic weight loss overnight, but reduced belly bloating, less swelling, better muscle recovery. And here's what I love most about this milestone. You can begin to feel like you're building momentum. You start thinking, if this is what 1 month feels like, what else is possible? This is where your wellness is compounding. As we get into weeks 5 through 8, the metabolic and brain benefits, wow, here we go. So this is where your metabolism improves, workouts feel better, recovery time from exercise improves, inflammation in your joints may decrease, and cognitively, brain clarity improves, and it is noticeable. Alcohol affects memory and focus and mood more than we realize, and weeks 5 through 8, this is where you're going to notice those differences. So this is where people feel sharper thinking and more emotional resilience, better overall stamina. It's like your system is just operating clearer. So by 90 days, the changes are profound. This is where people often say, I didn't realize how much it was affecting me until I stopped. At 3 months, the immune system improves function, heart health improves, long-term disease risks decrease, inflammation continues dropping, and perhaps more importantly, you begin living your life from a new baseline. You're not numbing, you're not recovering every day, you're not dragging, you're fully present. And from an emotional perspective, sometimes what we miss isn't the drink, it's the ritual, the pause, the exhale at the end of the day. So if you're thinking about taking a break from alcohol, ask yourself, what else can give me that feeling? Maybe it's going for a walk or replacing that drink with something non-alcoholic that tastes good. Just put it in the same glass. Create a mocktail ritual. Maybe start journaling, listening to music, or having a connection with people. The goal around quitting alcohol for a bit isn't about deprivation. It's about expanding your life and feeling things in a different way. So if you're curious about taking a break from alcohol, let this be your reminder. You don't have to make it a forever decision. You can be week by week. Decide on a weekly basis, because every small shift is a deposit into your wellness bank. And in the second half of life, we're not just adding years, we're adding clarity, energy, strength, and presence. These things matter more in midlife than ever before. We all know that. So as we think about alcohol, it's so normalized today. Many people drink without realizing the subtle effects on their health. And this isn't about judgment, it's just about awareness. I'm not labeling alcohol as bad. I'm just letting you know the things that are impacted health-wise that I found in my research that I wanted to share with you. So if you're interested in better sleep and hydration, repairing your liver and feeling less bloated, you might want to cut back for longer than that dry January or sober October and see if a 90-day reset is what you need to determine if the side effects that you have in midlife just might be caused by alcohol consumption. I hope this episode was beneficial to you, and if you thought of somebody who might need to hear the messaging, please share this episode with them. And if you haven't already, please hit follow. We would love for our podcast to appear in your podcast library because we drop episodes every week, and I don't want you to miss it. Thanks for listening today. If this episode sparked something in you, please share it with a friend, leave a comment or a review, and reach out and let me know what resonated. Remember, no matter what age or stage of life you're in, you can pivot. And always remember, the second half of life is not a winding down. It's a waking up. Please follow or subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our podcast family. Let's keep showing up and being the best version of ourselves. Until next time, take care.